Get tipping to that official start time. Let me just capture again some of our reminders for our 30 minutes together for slow flow yoga. I'm Jen. Your yoga blocks are a light set of dumbbells. Strongly encourage those to give yourselves those opportunities as you explore kind of depth and space in your hips that we can be incredibly thoughtful about the posture of our body and using blocks or dumbbells to give that height support. So, with that said, we will spend a little time grounded, a little time standing, but we're just going to really kind of stretch literally in the body and just kind of stretch things out is my hope, more figuratively as well. So I will press play on some music. Let's take our time to connect. We will start on our backs as we do, so we can really kind of connect and soften a bit to start to gather just that bit of information about our body and our brain in this moment. Just that fascinating dichotomy of coming to our mat, coming to practice, knowing there's just a way that we move, right? There's an approach, kind of an arc to our class. There are literally familiar movements that we will find and explore with little variations of some of them. Hi, Raquel. And how do we give ourselves that space to almost meditatively appreciate that sense of familiarity while also being uniquely present for our body today? Invite us to take a few little gentle sways of the knees. If and when you start to feel connected on your back, and just a little brief moment to kind of soften. Offer is to bring your arms up toward the ceiling or sky. Gently interlace your fingers and just rotate to send your palms to the ceiling, but then allow your hands to come and rest across your forehead. So you might kind of feel the knuckles or the backs of your hands. See how it feels to let your elbows kind of gently be tugged toward the floor with gravity, and you can continue to sway the knees here. But I hope it kind of gets to be that little bit of a sweet spot where you feel some gentle pressure across your third eye space. Or maybe consequently, your jaw begins to soften, your collarbones expand, and your breath becomes just slightly elongated, more spacious. Take a few more rounds of breath, releasing the hands whenever you feel called to do so, bringing them to rest by your sides. And invite as maybe those swaying legs become a lift off the ground. You might roll the ankles around, and truly the might and the maybes are meant to be just that. What is feeling right to your hips right here, your spine, your brain, your breath? And whenever you're feeling ready, let's take a few moments to extend the legs up toward the ceiling or sky, taking a few moments here where maybe you're relatively still. There might be some kind of activity through the backs of the legs. There might be some energy through your heels, but just feeling that opening with an appreciation to pause. And then let's work a bit through knees and core, arms by your sides. Bend both knees, but then just take a toe touch of one dip of the toes toward the floor. One leg hinges to touch. Legs go back up straight for a brief moment, then both knees bend, and then the other leg will just kind of hinge at the hip to touch toes toward the floor. And we'll go back and forth here. So my hope is you're getting some movement in the knee. I also hope you feel that, just that micro moment as your toes come toward the ground, that you feel that, oh, my back might want to arch. Just that little bit of energy that it takes to keep your ribs active, drawing toward the mat. Take a few more rounds here, and whenever you feel satisfied, don't worry if you kind of lost track of left and right. Let's meet with the legs up one more time to hold the outsides of the thighs and guide the legs open to a wide V. We will find this shape standing. So taking some time to create a little muscle memory when the back is fully supported, you might move around through the feet, flex and point, but the hope is that hold of the legs is allowing you to create a really gentle opening, not too much, not too little. Let's start to come out of this through almost like a frog on our back. So I'm going to flex the feet. I'm going to actually try to turn my hips outward so it's like my kneecaps are facing more to these sides of the room, and then start to squeeze as you bend the knees like your heels are going to come closer together. I'm still holding my legs. Pause there. I hope it feels kind of active in the hips, and then soften and guide those bent knees closer together over your chest. And then maybe you give this a really good hug at shins or backs of thighs. You might then return to rocking side to side to create energy to become upright and seated. You might start to grab the backs of your thighs to create a rocking and rolling sensation. Your way, your time to bring yourself to be upright and seated. There is no rush. Once you're there, offer to sit with planted feet, knees bent. Give yourself a shift and wiggle of your sit bones. And let's just move right away through torso and shoulders. This kind of reach and wrap around. I'm going to face you. I do typically enjoy a little rounding of my back with this, but just pay attention to what your spine is telling you here. And I hope there's more of a sense of feel than there is trying to like do a movement. Just that little difference, right? Of kind of setting the stage and then just letting yourself feel free to move. Can we pause briefly in a variation of fish pose? So I'm going to plant my hands behind the hips, offer to have fingertips toward your feet. Feel a little puff up of your heart, like you're kind of pressing the backs of your ribs up and down. You could extend your legs straight here if that feels welcome. Does not matter if you have legs straight or knees bent. Perhaps you kind of create a sense of a double chin. So rather than letting your head collapse back, kind of draw your chin back in space. So we're at least counteracting that forward tilt of the neck, and take a few more breaths. We're just creating some space in the ribs. You might feel this in your shoulders and chest. And then I'm going to carefully rise up, bend my knees a little bit so I can sit tall. Offer to maybe roll the wrists, squeeze around through the fingers, anything else that you could use while we're sitting as we then make our way to tabletop pose. There is no rush. Coming around to face the front of your mat, body positioned right in the middle. Maybe take a brief moment with this moment, right, that's familiar, tabletop pose. You perhaps just pause, feel your fingertips, feel the tops of your feet, and then start to expand and explore your body. Cows and cats. This is one of those moments, right? Repetition, something that's really familiar to us in this practice. And yet, what are we noticing today? Where's that presence of your mind where you can simultaneously not overthink, but also gather information? Take a few more rounds of breath as we build to take two kind of low sun salutations. So we will actually take a moment to come to the knees. If you would like to take a brief pass to attempt to sit on your feet, whether the tops of the feet are down or the toes are curled under, keeping any amount of pressure on your hands to just get a little added stretch in the feet or the knees or the quadriceps. Maybe you're sitting fully on the feet, and then we'll meet on the knees when you're ready. I'm going to take a breath up or reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a moment here to find a couple of cow and cats. So I'm going to actually cactus the arms, open the heart, and then bring the hands in front. So just some more movement of the spine with some softening of your neck, some relaxation in your shoulders, and then we'll take that full sun salutation. So I'm going to take a reach up, stretch up, breathe up, thoughtful hinge, brings you back to plant the hands where you might walk all the way out to your knee plank right away. Toes uncurled, having just done movement of your spine. Notice, I hope you don't feel cow or cat-like, and the back of your head feels like it's in line with your tailbone. And let's lower like a push-up. Pull the ground up as your elbows hug in to lower to the belly, or come back to tabletop if not on the belly today. From the ground, peel up through any variation of cobra that's right to you, and offer to do some movements of your shoulders. You might keep your hands down and literally wiggle through shoulders without doing much else. You can kind of keep your chin just floating off of the ground and wiggle through the shoulders. You could create more of those spontaneous cobra and shoulder dips, and you can do any of those explorations from tabletop. Take a few more rounds of breath with this emphasis on kind of spine, back, shoulders. Antoine, good to see you. And let's connect back in tabletop when you're ready. If you're coming off of the belly, it's a thoughtful lift to curl toes under to find a puppy pose, hands forward, heart down, spine long, as though your tailbone is trying to stretch away from your fingertips. And as you create that space in your back body, allow your head to almost drop through the shoulders. Give yourself space to breathe with intention. Doesn't have to be dramatic, just purposeful and noticing. And then we'll make our way back to tabletop. We'll take a second pass at the knees, taking your time to get there. You might again take a moment to sit on the feet. So if you're finding that little stretch of the toes in your toe squat variation, or tops of feet down, anything that might feel welcome, or come to the knees right away, take your time. We'll take a little bit more work from here though to stretch into the hips. Once you're on the knees, a little bit more weight into your right knee. Let's step the left foot forward. Take a little bit of time here to shift kind of front to back to find that sweet spot for your left foot. We're going to do a little bit more purpose with this shifting. Intention for hip, spine, and posture. Let's pause briefly. Arms reaching forward, palms face each other. I'm going to let my hips soften forward, but I'm not going to hinge my back. So it's going to feel like a little tilt at the waist. And then as you pull back, can you literally bow and arrow your left arm and twist to look at the left leg? So I'm going to do that again. Arms forward. I'm softening forward, but I'm not letting my back arch. So it's going to feel like you're kind of hinged at the waist. And then that bow and arrow pull. And I hope you're feeling the desire to move slow enough that you can just be super thoughtful about this. It's really intentional hip and spine work without letting your back compensate. Can we meet with your weight back kind of stacked over the right leg? Give a little squeeze of your right glute muscle, almost like you're trying to press your right hip flexor further forward. Root down through your left foot, and could you lean back just a little bit? So keep your spine straight. I found I got just like an extra sneaky stretch here, and there's a little core strength. Press forward, but lean back, and then rewind. Bring your left knee back next to your right knee. Take a big breath up. As you exhale, bend the elbows. I'm going to face you, and can we gently start to twist? Turn and twist to the right, come back to center, pause, and then twist to the left. The reason for that pause offer is so you're not using momentum. You're also not using your shoulders. Can you literally rotate using that draw in of your ribs and your torso, creating the twist? Take a few more rounds. And as you feel ready, maybe a cleansing breath would serve you. Breath up. Exhale, maybe throw the arms down. We bring hands to heart, more weight in left knee, right foot steps forward. Set up your stance, just that little sweet spot. And again, we'll move through this kind of shift of hips with really thoughtful spine. So arms will reach forward again, palms face one another. Feel yourself soften the hips forward toward your right foot. Let that little lean happen in your waist. So then as you pull back, we bow and arrow right arm back to twist to the right. Good. And just taking your time to kind of establish that pattern. But I hope if someone was watching your spine, that it wouldn't look like it ever moved. So even though there's a little hinge at the waist, that your spine is staying really strong through the duration of these movements. And then as you're ready, we'll stack to face forward, kind of shoulders over the left leg. Squeeze your left glute muscle to send the hip further forward, kind of press through your right foot and maybe lean back just a little bit. So if that lean feels like a strengthening moment and you might just feel something more open up in that left quadricep or hip flexor, breathe. And then rise up, right knee next to left. We'll take a flow. Big reach up, stretch up, thoughtful hinge to tabletop. There's an offer here, whether you decide to spend time in tabletop or the belly, to work a couple more hip movements. So if you go to the belly, the offer would be scorpions, where we eventually bend one knee and kind of roll across onto that straight leg and then switch. Or you can do some hip openers from tabletop. And if that's not feeling necessary in your body, all of these ideas that I'm kind of tossing your way are meant to be just that. They're just ideas. Take a few more rounds of movement in your scorpions or your tabletop hip openers. And as you feel ready, the invite is to make your way toward a child's pose. As always, there's no rush. My hope is I send those offers out into your space in time for you to choose where you want to head. Child's pose, we're a little bit more absorbed into the ground. So you might feel just kind of lower than you do in a puppy pose, your tailbone melting toward the heels. You can opt for a really strong press of the hands or a softening of your elbows. Noticing just the interesting kind of yin and yang of this pose, how it's supposedly restful, but so much is happening. Send a breath somewhere. Let it soften. Let's make our way back to tabletop pose. So we will head to stand to be just kind of stretchy and spacious, and we're going to create a really big hip opener to return to. Offer to take a block or dumbbell and set it in front of your mat. As we make our way to stand, you might opt to spend time in downward facing dog here. So curling toes under to feel a lift. Downward facing dog is really a lovely pose to be fidgety. It's also a lovely pose to pause in, but kind of feeling and shifting and trying it on. Maybe bending your knees more than usual. Maybe really let your head hang and shake. Maybe press through your fingers more firmly to elongate your spine. Keep the knees down if that's feeling better. As you're ready, we walk to the top of the mat, generous bend of the knees so you can carefully lift the head so that walk maintains again your posture, your back. Hands come to block or dumbbell or shins or thighs. You might find a couple of cow and cat movements. So then you can either land in kind of that halfway lift, strong spine, or maybe you head to ragdoll. All these places that we explore at the top of the mat. Again, this interesting space of familiarity and today's practice. When you're ready, standing, rolling up or reverse swan dive, use your legs. So let the lower body really help the spine expand in whatever way it's doing so. Once you're tall and upright, maybe you take that freedom breath, reach up, stretch up, exhale, hands to heart. If you do have blocks or dumbbells, we're going to come to end our standing sequence down in a deep hip stretch. So I'm going to actually set both of my blocks off the right side of my mat, one toward the top and one about halfway down. From the top of your mat, we're going to do just a smidge of balance. It's going to be active balance today. I'm going to face you. Can you root down through your left foot, open your right hip, toes still on the ground, start to lift your right leg. So it's almost like we're going to come to tree pose, but we're not going to touch. So active balance, meaning your hip is really having to do the work to keep you here rather than resting on the left leg. What if you were going to make it figure four, but you don't touch? So just kind of cross that right ankle more in front of the left leg, left knee soft, grace space. There's so much strength here. And then can you send that right foot to land behind your left? It doesn't have to be very far. Sky Archer, it's like reverse triangle, right arm up, left arm down, just a shorter stance. Option for shoulder and torso movement. I'm going to look back at my right foot and then kind of rotate my torso to sweep my left arm back toward my right foot and all the way around to the front and return to where I started. And just kind of see how that feels. Maybe you take a couple of those. And your right arm can move as well. We're just kind of rotating the torso, softening the shoulder. Just once that frame is there, how does that feel for you? When you are ready, maybe one more pass. Sky Archer, left arm up, right arm down. And then let's bring the body tall, hands in. We're going to turn to fully face the right side of your mat with the toes literally facing the long side. And we're going to head to a wide fold right away. So softening the knees, chest up tall until your hands touch, block dumbbell or floor. And then find this stretch. Remember, we started this on our back. Our back was strong and supported, lengthening the legs. Make that kind of symbol adjustment where maybe the spine stays strong and long like it's still on the ground. Maybe you go ragdoll style. Maybe your feet widen or come closer, just depending on what that conversation is between your hamstrings, your back, your spine. When you're ready, let's press the hands into something. So your block or your dumbbell or the mat, lift chin, lift heart, and bend and extend the legs a couple of times where your back does not move at all. So here again, revisiting this concept of building strength and stability in the back and spine, and the hips get their genuine opportunity to open. Can we meet with both knees slightly bent? Is it possible to crawl your way around to a low lunge where your right knee is going to drop? So those blocks might be there to help you shift. Right knee down, uncurl right toes. Can you walk your left foot wider? I'm going to face you, where maybe both hands are inside into your lizard lunge. If your hips are feeling tight today, that drop of the hands is not necessary. You can take this with hands off of the ground. The question is, can you find that sweet spot of hips softening into gravity, but your posture is lifted, your heart is up and your chin is up? And how about that sweet spot where your hips feel supported by gravity, not collapsing in? I'm going to face you. You can stay here, or there's a variation tilted dragon if you'd like to explore. Right hand will stay down. Left hand will help your left hip open. You're going to kind of roll to the left edge of your foot. And it might feel like your hips are like, oh, hey, yeah, I can soften further, but do so thoughtfully, not with collapse. You might even rotate your torso more to look over your left shoulder. Do you feel like your right hand and shoulder are doing all the work to hold you up? How could you change that? Good, let's unwind. You might have to raise your blocks or to shift your weight back so you can walk your left foot further back and slightly wider, and then pause to shift your weight left and right. So it's like a single leg kind of bent tabletop pose. Check with your spine. Does it feel like it's cat-like or cow-like? Can you be neutral here as you shift? And then with a little more weight in your right leg, can you send your left leg straight back long, toes on the ground? You could lower the blocks to the lowest setting and keep your hands elevated here. You can also bring them back to the mat. I hope it feels like your hip just kind of got a timeout. And then we're going to counter stretch from lizard by lifting the left leg, cross it off the right side of your mat. Maybe you almost kind of banana your side body where you're kind of rotating to peek over your right shoulder, feeling some space in the left ribs. Stay here, the lovely stretch. You might opt to center your shoulders again and then also bend your left leg and shift around to be kind of cross-legged tabletop. I do like my blocks for this. So if your hands have been on the floor, you might elevate them again, and then you can shift this shape front to back and or side to side. So literally kind of that counter stretch. Lizard is a big hip opener, and this we go inward. How's your spine? Did I promise to say it 17,000 times in one class? And when you feel ready, we will unwind to tabletop. Move your blocks or dumbbells off to the sides and give yourself an opportunity to flow. So any of the things that we were working on as we were earlier in this practice, maybe you come back to the belly. Maybe you come back to the belly and actually take a time out for the lower back and windshield wiper the legs from the ground. Maybe you're craving a cobra or more shoulder movements. Your body might be ready for another child's pose, or maybe those opportunities to sit back on your feet. We kind of built that in earlier. Maybe that's where your body wants to go. Or we move just slow enough to notice the instinct of where we want to head next. With a brief moment to pause as you feel okay doing so. And then we'll make our way back to standing. So finding our path through tabletop, maybe setting again one block or dumbbell out in front. Take your time to go from ground to stand. It might be some time again in a downward facing dog. Noticing even within this practice where repetition feels same and restorative, where shifts are happening, walking to the top of your mat as you feel ready, chin up, spine long. When you're there, what do you need? How long do you want to spend there? Do you want a cow and cat? Do you want to ragdoll? Do you want to stand sooner than later? Listen to your yoga. I'm here to just ramble and share ideas. Standing thoughtfully, use your legs. Rounding up or peeling up, press through the feet. Once you're upright, you could take an opportunity to take a freedom breath, just that added opportunity to stretch and breathe. And as you feel ready, upright and tall, just a reminder of block setup, both of them on the left side of your mat. So we have that kind of ninja crawl support when we get there. And then again, at the top of your mat, we go active balance. I'm going to face you, rooting down through your right foot to turn the left knee open and then see about lifting. And notice where the work starts to happen in your brain. Do you start to create that, like, how high can I lift? Maybe. How much stability can I find in the opening, right? There's kind of so many things happening here, not only the lift, but the opening. And maybe notice if you're creating a competition that doesn't need to happen with yourself. What if you tried to go figure 4, but again, you don't touch, just hover. So much hip strength here, but your back is supported, which is where this gets to be so good for us. And when you're ready, we flip to send that left foot behind to land it. Right arm up, left arm down. Just this little pass in what we call sky archer. I'm going to face you. And then that offer to create those rotations again. So you might actually look back at your left foot first and then kind of sweep your right arm around, a little movement of your torso to kind of make that little circle. And I don't say circle to then create like an image that you have to mimic, but just this movement in your spine and your shoulder. I hope it feels delightful. And as you feel ready, maybe one more pass in your sky archer, and then we'll bring our body tall to complete the turn to the left side of your mat. And as you're ready, we head to wide fold round 2. I like to, again, hinge with my spine strong to land hands on block, dumbbell, or floor. Take a second pass in your wide fold. Checking back in again with your spine, you can still kind of create those cow and cat movements so you feel really elongated from the crown of your head to the tailbone, whether you're ragdoll style or not. When you're ready, we create our journey to the ground. So pressing hands into block or dumbbell, lift your heart, lift your chin. Maybe you bend and extend the knees a couple of times again, or you soften both and kind of get that almost buoyancy so we can start to ninja crawl to face the front of the mat. Your blocks are there. They can come with you. Left knee down, uncurl left toes. Again, offers to have both hands inside your right leg in your lizard pose. Make adjustments. This is a pose that I just have to kind of finagle and find that sweet spot, especially using gravity, but being super thoughtful about a lift of the heart. We don't lose anything about the hip stretch when we're lifting and expanding the spine. We keep building strength in our back. Take a few more breaths here. Maybe you opt to stay here. Maybe you want to explore that tilted dragon so your left hand would stay down, kind of lifting up and out to help the right hip open. It's just a gentle kind of nudge with the right hand. I'm not pushing or forcing. Notice as the hips soften down to be kind about that added space. You might peek over your right shoulder. Take another full breath in, full breath out. Unwind thoughtfully. Your hands might actually go higher on a block or a dumbbell as you shift your weight back to kind of creep the right foot back and slightly wider. Pause in an interesting sweet spot to shift your hips left and right. Again, check with your back. I hope you're looking out in front of your fingers so the chin is not dropping. It happens so naturally to us now. And then when you're ready, a little bit more weight in that left leg so you can sweep your right leg long behind you. And again, you can keep your hands elevated here. It's a nice way to take some stress off of the wrists. Feel that moment, maybe a little calf stretch, but also just kind of feeling, I hope your hips just, taking a sigh and a time out. And then we'll counter stretch. Lift your right leg to cross it off the left side, toes on the floor. Maybe peek over your left shoulder. You might even feel just a slight kind of tilt of your right side body, almost like you're creating a little banana shape in your right side. Feel free to stay here and explore. Maybe you do opt to temporarily level your upper body to cross right leg also, or to bend right leg also. And you probably have to finagle how the legs feel about that crossover, and you can move around here. So many hip directions in a very short amount of time. So give yourself the space to breathe, to not expect anything, to find those little nooks and crannies that feel welcome. And as you feel ready, from wherever you've been spending time, we'll meet in tabletop. So it might be an unwinding of legs. It might be a moving of your props off to the side. And it's a final opportunity to flow and rinse. Taking your time to find any added movements, any space, coming to a momentary pause in a puppy pose, maybe one final downward facing dog or a child's pose, creating space to absorb. So much space and movement, so much thoughtfulness even for our brains to hook into posture, giving ourselves a space to just kind of let it all land. As you feel ready, the invite is to pass through, maybe from tabletop, to come to sit briefly with your feet toward the top of the mat. We will return to our back just for a brief supported bridge. You can opt for an active bridge. If you have a block, that would be the suggestion for supported bridge. Whenever you're feeling ready, take your time. We'll meet on our backs. You might hold the backs of the legs and kind of help yourself unwind. But again, if you have a yoga block, we'll keep that within reach. And I hope this moment as you come back to the floor feels like you just kind of get absorbed into the ground. Even just the bit that we were standing, the bit of effort that we had in keeping our posture so thoughtful. Now we can just let it go into gravity. And again, you can opt here for an active bridge. It'll start looking the same way whether you'll go active or supported. So planting the feet, knees bent about hip distance apart. If you have a block nearby, you'll want it in one of your hands. And let's press through the feet, peel up through your spine. If you're active bridge, feel that lift in a way that feels comfortable, supported. We slide the block under the back at the lowest setting it can be as we melt back over the top. And it might take a couple of just readjustments here. We certainly don't want that block to feel painful. I hope you can find a place where it just kind of feels like you can melt right over the top of it. Let your collarbones expand. You might begin to close your eyes. Stay in supported bridge with both feet planted. You might explore extending one leg out a little straighter and longer for a few breaths. That same hip flexor might create just a little bit more opening. It creates a different sense of support and kind of hold over your block. And if you opted for one leg to extend, I do encourage you to switch, just doing one leg at a time. So the other leg extends as the other knee returns to bend. Notice if anything feels like it's hanging on. Hopefully it feels a little soft. And as you feel ready, meeting back, if you've been in supported bridge, both feet planted, lift up just enough to slide that block out of the way. Can you re-articulate down as slowly as you can? And I don't mean to make a strange competition with yourself here at the end, but really take your time so it feels like you might just sink right through the earth. When you land, soften your belly. Maybe your knees start to drift open. Maybe you want to sway the legs. Maybe a big full body stretch would be welcome to you here. Take a few breaths to create a momentary landing spot. Splayed out long, knees bent, maybe knees bent and kind of dropping in on one another. Maybe you return similarly, bringing your dominant hand palm on your forehead and the other hand right over the top. It might even create a little shadow, a little darkness over the eyes, just feeling that pressure. A gentle softening on your forehead, taking a breath in to thank yourself and a breath out to melt through your jaw. This is where I will send my gratitude to all of you with the wish that you've got time to stay and rest. If so, please do. Thank you for inviting me into your day. I acknowledge there is love and light in me that sees, honors, and bows to the light and love in each and every one of you. Namaste. No rush.